They say to keep your friends close. But they never tell you what to do when your friends become your worst nightmare. When the people you trust become the very danger you should have been running from. In the glow of a phone screen, everything seems normal. A message, an invitation. Friends waiting. It's the kind of notification we all get every single day. Casual. Harmless. Ordinary. But sometimes, the most dangerous moments in our lives arrive disguised as the most familiar ones. Thompson was just like you. A young person navigating life, building friendships, trusting the people around him. He had classmates he laughed with, people he shared moments with, people he thought he knew. Elijah and Tony weren't strangers lurking in dark alleys. They weren't faceless criminals from another world. They were right there in his circle, familiar faces, trusted names. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wear a mask or carry a warning sign. It comes dressed as friendship. It speaks with voices you recognize. It texts you from numbers you've saved in your phone. And when it strikes, the shock isn't just about what happens. It's about who does it. The plan was simple in their minds. Greed has a way of making terrible ideas seem reasonable. 150 million naira. That's what they demanded. A king's ransom for a young life. They believed someone would pay it. They believed they could extract that kind of money and walk away clean. But greed is never satisfied, and desperation makes people do unthinkable things. Here's where the story gets even darker. In the end, after everything they put this young man through, after the fear and the pleading and the unimaginable terror, they didn't get their millions. They didn't get their fortune. What did they get? The price they ultimately accepted for a human life was barely enough to buy a cheap smartphone. Think about that. A life valued at less than what most of us carry in our pockets every day. They fled afterward, of course. Criminals always run. They headed to Ikoradu, thinking distance would save them. Thinking they could blend into the shadows, and the story would fade. That somehow the weight of what they'd done wouldn't follow them. But some stains don't wash away. Some crimes echo louder than any attempt to silence them. The truth is, no matter how far you run, you can't outrun what you've become. You can change locations, but you can't change the fact that somewhere, a family is destroyed. A mother wakes up every morning to a reality that doesn't include her son. A father carries a weight that never gets lighter. Siblings face a future with an empty chair at every gathering. Friends are left with memories that now carry the bitter taste of loss. This isn't just a story about crime. It's a story about trust and how easily it can be weaponized. It's about the assumptions we make every day. We assume that people we know won't hurt us. We assume that familiarity equals safety. We assume that because someone sits next to us in class or shares a meal with us, they're incapable of darkness. But evil doesn't always look like a stranger. Sometimes it looks like a friend. Sometimes it sends you a text message. Sometimes it knows your name, your routine, your vulnerabilities. And that's what makes it so terrifying. That's what makes this story so important to tell. Awareness isn't just about watching the news and shaking our heads at distant tragedies. Awareness is about understanding that danger can come from anywhere. It's about recognizing red flags. It's about trusting your instincts when something feels off, even if the person making you uncomfortable is someone you've known for years. It's about having difficult conversations with the people you love. It's about sharing locations. It's about checking in. It's about creating safety nets that might feel unnecessary until the moment they save your life. Protection isn't paranoia. Caution isn't weakness. In a world where people can be traded for the price of a phone, vigilance is survival. Thompson's story ended in tragedy, but his name doesn't have to be forgotten. Justice for Thompson isn't just about legal consequences for those who took his life. It's about making sure his story teaches us something. It's about making sure other families don't have to face this same nightmare. It's about changing how we think about trust, safety, and the people we let into our lives. Watch who you trust. Question what feels wrong. Protect yourself and the people you love. Because in this world, the price of carelessness can be everything. And some debts can never be repaid.